Have you ever felt like you were waist deep in mud, stretching out your hand, hoping something, some compassionate presence would grab hold of the rope at the other end? I know that feeling. I'm Jody, an artist and expat living in Portugal, and a few weeks ago, that mud felt very real to me. I had been away from everything that mattered to me creatively for several weeks. My lower back was hurting. The summer heat was building, and an online class I had worked really hard to be able to afford fell through at the last moment. And the voice started. You know the one. Why bother? No one will notice. Anyway, it's too late for me. And underneath all of that, though, was something smaller, more tender, a voice that simply said, I'm not worth it. If that sounds familiar, then stay with me. What I discovered that morning changed everything for me, and I think it might change things for you too. With an ADHD brain, and maybe with any brain, the longer you stay away from something that holds high value to you, the heavier the returning feels. Shame quietly moves in, avoidance takes hold, and what started as a simple time of rest becomes a stuck place. I had traveled to Guimarães with my husband Rob and extended family. It was a beautiful trip and a draining one, traveling with people you love beyond your small household of people takes a different kind of energy, and the kind that takes longer to replenish when you return. Plus, as I said, an online class I had really wanted to take that would last all summer long, and I had worked hard to afford, fell through. I want you to understand that one of my deepest dreams is to one day be financially independent, to be able to say yes to things that build me up. And I want to actually build something online that makes that possible. That dream fell away that morning. And then something shifted. I reached out. I opened my laptop. Not to work, not to film, simply to extend that hand. I typed something to Claude AI that surprised even me as I wrote it. I feel as if I am waist deep in mud, stretching out my hand, using you, Claude, as that something that can gently tug at the other end of the rope. If I can just get one foot out onto dry land, I could take that deep breath and begin to walk towards my future goals. Here's what I've come to understand. That thing keeping you stuck, it isn't laziness. It isn't the unfolding heat of the summer. It isn't how long you've been away. There is simply a part of you, a little one on the inside, a younger version of you, and she or he is working so very hard to keep you safe because she remembers every risk that didn't pay off, every time you tried and failed, and every failure she has carried quietly for decades now. So she simply decided staying stuck is far safer than trying again, because trying again means risking rejection, disappointment, and the shame of failing one more time. I call her the younger part of myself. And when I finally saw her clearly that morning, I didn't see weakness. I saw loyalty, and I saw exhaustion. See, here's what I've come to understand about my ADHD brain, and maybe it applies to yours too. But when we stay away from something that matters deeply to us, the shame doesn't stay the same size. It grows. Every day we don't return to that project or that dream, the story gets louder. You left it too long now. You've proven you can't follow through. Who were you kidding anyway? And here is the cruelest twist of an ADHD brain. That very thing that makes us so passionate about beginning makes the shame of not continuing feel absolutely crushing. We don't just feel behind, we feel like failures. And that feeling, it's not the truth. That is a part of us that is doing the only job she knows how to do. But here's what surprises me. Every single time I take the time to engage with my inner world in this way, something shifts on the inside simply by acknowledging her, not with judgment, not with frustration. I don't say, you aren't helping me, or I hate this part of myself. No, it's just, I can see you now. You are trying so hard to keep me safe, and you haven't gotten any older. You remain, maybe 5 years old? And all of this feels so overwhelming to you. What a crushing job for a very young girl. I want to thank you for trying your best. I'm not mad at you. I love you, little one. And you are welcome here. And when I can engage like that, she breathes a sigh of relief, and I can feel her fear and her overwhelm lessening. Because the problem was never that you weren't worth it. The problem is that the younger part of you just doesn't believe that you're worth it yet. And she hasn't heard yet that perfect love delights in giving good gifts, including the gift of a fresh start. What if the part of you that feels stuck is simply waiting to be welcomed home? So that is what changed for me that Sunday morning. It wasn't a productivity hack, not a system or a 5-step plan, just a welcome. And so here's what I did. On that very warm Sunday morning when I was waist deep in emotional mud, first I placed my hand on my heart and I took a few slow, deep breaths. Studies have actually shown that this gentle action of placing your hand on your heart and doing those deep breaths lowers cortisol in your system. Just 20 seconds worth will lower your cortisol. Everybody's got 20 seconds where they can just breathe, right? It sends a signal to your body that you can rest, that you're secure, and your body actually believes it, even when your mind isn't quite sure yet. And second, I got quiet enough to notice her, the little one, the younger part of myself. And I spoke to her in just the way that I showed you just now, gently, without any judgment, without pointing a finger at her. And she breathed a sigh of relief. I could feel her fear and her overwhelm quieting down. The third thing I did was I took one tiny step. I opened my laptop and I started writing. That's it. And I wanted to show you what that one tiny step actually looked like. I opened a conversation with Claude AI and I typed those words, which included waist deep in mud. And by the end of that morning, those words had become a published Substack post for my Substack publication, read by real women who wrote back to tell me I needed this today. So I had one foot on dry land and became one post published, and one post published became one woman encouraged, And that is what one tiny next step can do. A desire to become more yourself instead of less, to build a life that feels more honest, more creative, more alive, more yourself. And that is what is waiting for you on the other side of the mud. Not perfection, not a finished project, just more of yourself showing up, right? And she is absolutely worth it. That one tiny next step. Before you go, I want to ask you something. If you could name one emotion that is keeping you stuck right now, what would it be? And then where do you feel that emotion in your body? For some, it is like a tightness in your chest, or for some, it might be tension in your back, or, discomfort in your stomach. Just name that place where you feel that feeling. And that's the burden that your little one is carrying. And she needs your compassion and your curiosity to be able to lighten her grip on it. I would love for you to leave me a comment below. Name that emotion and tell me where you find it, because you don't have to carry that alone anymore. And if this conversation resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey together. There is so much more I want to share with you about creativity, our inner world on the inside, and the parts that make up who we are, about ADHD, and what it means to be bravely becoming at any age. I'm so glad you're here. Walk gently with yourself today. Beijinhos, little kisses from Portugal. Ciao for now.